What's up YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back, and today we'll be hunting a box of quarters that I picked up from one of my local Wells Fargos. Now you'll see this box is taped, and that's because when I asked for a box and they said they had one, it actually showed up at the counter that way, and it is customer wrapped rolls. Now before I took it home, I did ask if this came from another collector and how they got them. And the answer was it was like a mom and her son, so Lord knows what's in here. I do have some interesting marks on the coins. I don't know what they're on the wrappers. I don't know what that means, so I'm kind of excited to get into this because this could be anything. So let's jump into it. So as I said in the intro, we have $500 worth of customer wrapped quarters, and I have taken these out and weighed them all because one of my pet peeves is getting shorted in customer wrapped rolls, and you'll be happy to hear only 2 or 3 rolls weighed less than they should, which means less than 227 to about 229 grams. So we're going to go ahead and open a handful of these together just to see if we can get lucky and find some silver. Maybe this was from a kid who was cleaning out Grandpa's jar and didn't know what he had. Who knows? But we're going to go ahead and get maybe 5 rolls pushed out of here. Now, I will add this video to my Hunt and Fill series, even though my books are more or less complete. I do have a handful of upgrades I'm looking for, and I do need a couple of the newer women's quarters. But I have done a Series A and a Series B set of books from when does it start? I'm trying to remember when it starts. It's past the silver years. I think it's like, God, I should know this. I just can't remember. Hang on. I don't have any of my books out right now. But anyway, it's from, I want to say like the 70s. Up through today. Of course, in this hunt, we'll be looking for all kinds of various mint errors and varieties. We'll be looking for San Francisco business strikes. We will be looking for San Francisco proofs. We will be looking for W minted or West Point minted quarters because those things still go for a pretty penny. And I do have a document in the description down below this video that has a checklist of all of the things that I hunt, regardless of the denomination. So, actually, let's get a couple, 2 or 3 more out here, just so you guys can see. I'm kind of edge hunting here looking for silver. We do have a lot of newer looking 2022 and 2023 quarters. You can tell by those blinging edges. But I am going to go back, of course, and go through every single one of these coins, looking for, like I said, those errors, those mint marks. And hopefully we find some cool stuff. Because lately, I have not found any silver in quarters, and the W's have all but dried up. So, all right, let's do maybe like one more on top of this one. So how many rolls? This is going to be a mess to clean up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And maybe we'll get 10 out here. We'll get 10 rolled out. Do I have room? I really don't have room. This will be our last one because I really need to get through this mat and clean it up a little bit. So, well, shoot. This is why I wanted to stop because we're running out of room here. So no silver there and no silver there. All right, well, let me get through these. I will stop as I go through if I find anything interesting. Otherwise, I will bring you in. I'll probably go 1 or 2, maybe 3 rolls at a time moving forward. And like I said, I'll bring you in as I find stuff. And we'll talk about the value, why it's a mint error variety, or why I'm pulling it aside as we get there. So I'm kind of showing you this box just to give you an idea how empty it is. I went through those first 7 or 8 rolls. I got 4 more out, and on the first roll that I got out, I came across a coin that I think is post-mint damage. Just wanted to show it to you guys in case I was wrong. But our ridge here does look almost exactly like the rounded edge of another quarter. It fits on there quite nicely. So I don't know if somebody got these in a vise or something like that and tried to imprint another quarter on there, but we also got kind of a almost chipped, cracked planchet look over here. So I don't think I have anything. If anything, I think this is post-mint damage, but it was just weird enough that I thought I would show it to you. And the worst part of all of it is that it is actually a spitting horse. You can see the die crack right there coming out of the horse's mouth. I'll put it under the scope here so you can see it a little bit better. But you can see right here, we actually have the spitting horse die crack. So I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this because it's technically an error that we would normally be looking for. But it's also just odd enough that, if this is a mint error, then maybe it makes it worth a whole lot more. But even the coin is kind of dented. I just think this is post-mint damage. If you have some other thoughts, let me know in the comments down below. So we're on the very next roll, and we're, I don't know, maybe a third of the way through, and we have found another fairly common error, or at least one you should be looking for. And this one is, I like to call it the snow on the window. I don't think I've actually ever seen this one in like a Variety Vista or anything like that. But it's where we get a big die chip up here on the upper windows. Typically, you're looking for snow on the roof, which we might have just a little bit right there. And that's where we have die chips up on the roof. And then there's lots and lots of different DDRs or double die reverses where you can find them down in the windows. There's also a pretty big die chip that you should be looking for called the leaky bucket if you've never found one of those. So let's get it under the scope so you guys can see it a little bit better here for the die chip. You can see it looks like we're about to have some die chips up here because we've got some raised metal right there, but they're not, it didn't leave any of the metal behind like a normal die chip would, like you see right here. So that's where we call that snow on the roof. Typically, we're looking for that DDR to present itself in these bottom 4 windows and off of this water spout. And down here's where we would look for that leaky bucket, but we don't have one of those. You can actually see a little bit of the indentations where it was going to leave some metal behind, but it didn't. So same roll, just a little bit further in, we've come across I forget what year it was now, a 2015 Philadelphia. There's a pretty massive grease strike on here, and it's even more obvious under the scope. But you can see the ridges in the metal here, and a lot of this lettering is really, really flattened out and almost covered up and stretched. So you can see the "In God We Trust" looks really weird. The P is kind of the P for Philadelphia is kind of spread out. Let me put it under the scope here for you to look at. That is a struck through grease error as far as I know and understand. And you can see all those ridges and lines in here as well. I'm going to look on eBay to see if we can find anything like this because I have no idea what something like this would be worth. It's not a typical kind of error that I look for, but I do believe definitely a struck through grease error. So we're on the very next roll, and I actually found these two errors kind of right near each other, so I figured I'd bring you guys in and do them both at once here. This one I have covered in the past, but it's a die chip up here on Eleanor Roosevelt's hat. I'm going to see if we can see it without putting it under the scope. Well, you can kind of see it's ugly up there. We got a bunch of extra metal. Let's look at it under the scope here. It'll be a little easier to see. But this big hunk of metal right here is not supposed to be there. So that's a little die chip in the hat. The other one you want to look out for is the die crack that runs all the way from the rim down through this hat. And sometimes will curl down here into her forehead. That's another one you want to look for, but we're going to put that on the board as a find. And while I got you here, I have been pulling my bicentennials and a couple of stunners. I've got my first tall chief. So I am pulling aside a few other things, nothing of too much value, but just things I am looking for. But this is a new one that I have never really looked for before. This is the 2016 Virginia, the Philadelphia. And I saw this one in the Strike It Rich with Pocket Change book, and it's actually a DDR, and I'll have to put it under the scope to show you because it's really small. But what you're looking for is doubling here in the windows, and you can see it very clearly here, here, and here. You can see those windows just sort of have a doubled window. So that little edge right there is supposed to be all the way up there. So we've got 1, 2, 3 windows that are doubled. And I'll take you over to the computer and show you what that looks like on Variety Vista, and we'll talk about a value. So actually I changed my mind. I'm just going to show you the images here in the Strike It Rich with Pocket Change book. I did really quickly look up a quarter like the one I showed you on eBay, and one sold actually on February 6th, which I believe is today. It was actually yesterday. as I'm filming this, and it sold for $3.73 with free shipping. So let's check it out in the Strike It Rich book. So they show this one, the 2016 P Harper's Ferry, and you can see the little doubling in the window. Now mine doesn't look exactly like that, but it's very, very similar, and mine's down here in these windows. And if we come down here just a little bit, this is more similar, and in the windows that I have, it's much more similar to the coin I have. And you'll see, I think, on a lot of these, it'll tell you if there's hundreds and hundreds of these types of variety errors. This one doesn't say, but this is what mine looks like. And they even said in circulated condition, $3 to $5. So that jives with what we found on eBay. So I just opened up roll 14, and I know that because I just got done rewrapping the first 13 rolls, except for, of course, those that I've put aside. And I was looking at the edges on this particular roll, and I remember when the W quarters first came out, there were people that said, you know, you can find the W's just by looking at the edges, even in a brand new roll of coins. And I was never able to do that, but as I was kind of looking at this one jumped out at me a little bit, and you can probably see it right here. It almost looks a little silvery. It's definitely got that brand new coin look. And when I took a quick look at it while it was laying out on the table, sure enough, we've got a 2020 V75W, and it is the Tall Grass Prairie. Now, it looks like we got a great big fingerprint on it, but other than that, it is in fantastic shape. I guess maybe we've got a little bit of marks here on the front, but it looks still pretty darn good, and it is a W. Before the end of the video, we will talk about what these things are going for on eBay. Some W's are worth more than others. It's just been a long time since I've looked, so I don't know what the Tall Grass is going for, but I will take a W in my quarter hunt any day of the week. So I've got rolls 16 through 20 laid out in front of me, and I have found a 2021 Philadelphia Crossing the Delaware DDR, and this was found by Original ATOG Coins, I want to say sometime last year. It can be found on Variety Vista, and it is a relatively small DDR that I've recently started looking for, and basically it's a little doubling here right under Washington's cuff on his wrist. There's a couple of different versions of this, I think, that you can find out on Variety Vista, and it's just varying degrees of how big this little doubling is here on the cuff. But I found one. The coin's a little bit, this is, I think, maybe the second one I've ever found. The coin's in decent shape. You know, we've got some muck and grime on it, but from a details perspective, it's actually looking pretty good. So, well, I guess we got a chink right there from being in circulation. So I take it back. We got a little bit of damage on here, but overall, I have found much, much worse quarters in circulation. So I'm getting rolls 21 and 22 laid out. 22 I just pulled out of the wrapper, and we've got something silvery looking, but honestly, I don't think it's silver just by the edges. If you look, they're a little too tight. They don't look like U.S. currency, so I'm going to guess something foreign. Let's have a look here. And it is Canadian, 25 cents. At least I think it's Canadian, maybe not. Let's see. It is not Canadian. Commemorative of the Bahamas. Or, sorry, Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I can't read this evening. 2005. So first foreign quarter on the hunt. We'll go ahead and put that up here with the rest of our finds. We're going to roll 23, and you can already see it here. Towards the tail end of the roll, we've come across a Panamanian Balboa. Pretty cool. I love these coins. This is a 2008 República de Panamá. So this is one we're definitely going to hang on to in our second foreign on the hunt. So I'm getting through rolls 31 through 35. We're up here on roll 34, very near the end. I've actually already pulled the coin I want to show you, and I have covered this on previous videos. But we are looking right here at the die chip on the mountain or on the volcano or whatever that is on the back of the Kanaka Ole 2023 Philadelphia quarter. And it is. It's right up there. It's a little bit harder to find than the NQ's die chips that you can find down here in the K and the A, which that you can find on just about any coin, and you can even find it on this one. So we've got the die chips there and the one up here on the mountain. And I'll put some eBay comps on the screen to show you what this one's going for these days. And it was one of the last couple of coins in roll 35. I've got one of the new Marietta Tall Chiefs. I've actually been keeping a little stack of them because they're new. I've been kind of checking over each coin, looking for potentially new errors, and of course ones that we already know about. And this one has one of them. It is the little die chip up here and the little feathered hat she's got. You can see right here we got a little bit of metal left behind that's not supposed to be there. So far, it's the only thing that I have found from looking at these coins. Now, I understand that there are a couple other like little weird die chips and things that can be found. Let me just put a clean one here under the scope for you. You'll see no extra metal in here. So I just look at all of the new quarters whenever they come out just to make sure, I can't find something new that no one else has found before. And I did also want to point out here, you'll find stuff like this on eBay all the time where it'll look like little, tractor tracks on a coin, and they want to sell this as some sort of mint error. This is always some sort of damage from being in like those coin vats they go into before they get rolled. This is post-mint damage at its best, but somebody will look at this and call it the handkerchief error or the wristband error or whatever. That's just post-mint damage. You can see we've got a little bit more down here as well. So be careful if you're hunting for these kinds of errors on eBay, because people will find any little mark and scuff in a coin and want to call it a mint error. So it took us all the way to opening roll number 40 for us to finally get shorted by an American coin in a customer wrapped roll. Now this happens all the time if you hunt a lot of customer rolls. You'll find nickels in there, you'll find pennies, you'll find dimes, you'll find all kinds of madness. And this time, what did we get? It looks like a 20, maybe that's a 15 Philadelphia. So, like I said, it's just something you get used to when you hunt in customer rolls. At least this time it was a couple of neat, where'd they go? Over here. A couple of neat foreigns and one nickel. Well, we have reached the end of the box, and we're going to do a quick wrap up. And as I go through this, I'm going to let you guys know the value of any of these coins that I found, assuming they had value and I could find an eBay comp for them, because I always get that question if I don't cover it in the comments. So some of this stuff, we've got some die chips and some things that are worth a little money. We have some stuff that I just hang on to count and see how many I get, and a few of these things I hang on to, and then we do have some upgrades for our quarter series books, or our series A and B books. Now, I'm not going to cover punching those down in this video because I did that in the last one, and these are all just upgrades. And my books are more or less complete except for the women's quarter book. So coming up here, we did get a 2007 Canadian quarter. I did not bring you guys in for it simply because I had already brought you in for one Canadian quarter. Here was the one I brought you in for. This was the I say Canadian, I should have brought you in. I forgot. This one was from the Bahamas, 2005. I did bring you guys in here for our Balboa, and that was a 2008. Now, I do hang on to all my foreign quarters. I like the designs on them, and I've got a couple of tubes of Canadians going, and I definitely hang on to all my Balboas. Starting here, though, the Tallgrass W, this is a circulated condition quarter. It is a 2020 V75. We do have a fingerprint on it. That might come off with a little acetone. But right now, in a circulated state, those are going for anywhere from about $12 to $15 with shipping included. Now, they can go for a little bit higher than that if they are in uncirculated shape. But this is one, if I could get that fingerprint off of it, I would easily try to sell that for $12 to $15. So not a bad deal for something I picked up for a quarter. The Marietta Tall Chief, now you saw down here, I kept count of all the ones I got, mainly because I was looking for, there's some die trail errors, and I'm also just looking for things that other people maybe haven't found yet, and I did find, 6 or 7 of those. But our Marietta Tall Chief here, we had the die chip up in the little feathers. I did find a comp on eBay for those, and they were actually going for between about $4 and $5 with shipping included. So again, not a bad little find for a quarter. The Kanaka Ole, this is the Philadelphia with the die chip on the mountain there. Again, recent comp for $4.95 that included shipping. We had the Eleanor Roosevelt with the big die chip up here on the hat. That was going for around $3.50. We did have this struck through grease coin. It's kind of interesting, but all the struck through grease recently that I found, no matter the year, that weren't anything special. It was just a struck through grease error. They weren't going for a whole lot of money, like $1 or $2. Now, if you think this is something that could be worth more than that, let me know in the comments down below. The 2015 Homestead, lots and lots of errors on this one. The snow on the window, the one comp I found, it had the snow on the window and more snow on the roof than I have, and it went for about $2 to $3 if I recall. I did price the spitting horse without all of this damage on it because I don't know if this was post-mint. Somebody got a pair of pliers and went nuts on this thing or what. But if you have a decent circulated spitting horse, those are going for kind of $3 to $6, depending on how nice they are. They can fetch a little bit more if they're completely uncirculated. Now, the 2016 West Virginia, I found for $3 or $4, and it's the first time I've really hunted these seriously, and it's for DDRs up here in the windows. I covered it earlier in the video, and I actually found 2 of them. I think I only brought you in for 1, but I did find 2. And this DDR on the cuff, I did have a viewer on my last quarter video ask me if I hunt for it. I have only started hunting for that in the last couple of months, and I don't find too many. This one on eBay was going for about $2.50. Anyway, the other things that we do pull, we don't always keep them all, is we did get, 3, 6, 7, 8 Denver Bicentennials, because I'm always on the lookout for that DDO, the double die obverse. I've never found one. That's going to be a bucket list coin, I think. Most of these will go back because they're not in great shape, but there were 1 or 2 that were really nice. We did end up with 5 Philadelphia Bicentennials, and again, there might be 1 in there that I hang on to. I've stopped keeping them all because I find so many, and I just found I had 10 or 12 or 15 rolls of them, and I ended up just taking a lot of them back to the bank. As for upgrades, this 1998 Philly, really, really nice coin. That's going to upgrade one of my books. We did end up with a 99 Denver, Pennsylvania, a 2003 Arkansas Denver, a 2003 Alabama Philadelphia, a 2008 Hawaii Philadelphia, and this 2018 Cumberland Island Denver. Now, the funny thing is, because I have a Series 1 and a Series 2, some of these are going in Series 1, some of these are going in Series 2, because I did not bother at one point just putting all the nicest one in the Series A and then working on the Series B. So I always have to compare both books. But those will get punched down, and maybe next time I show the videos, you'll see them make an appearance. So with that, we've reached the end of the video. I really enjoy quarter hunts because there's so much to look for. I know I cover a lot of the same coins in every hunt, but part of that is to show you guys that these things are findable. They are attainable. I know if you're on the West Coast and you get a lot of Denver coins, it's a little bit harder because most of the errors are on the Phillies. But I have a blast with quarters. I wish I found more silver. I wish I found more W's, but they're starting to dry up. But it is what it is. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, drop on down below, click that like button, and leave me a comment. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, please consider clicking on that subscribe button and click that little bell so you get notified each and every time I do release a new video. I would like to take a second to thank my channel members. Your support each and every month really helps me out. And if you're interested in learning more about memberships, there is a link down below this video if you're on a computer. On the mobile device, I still haven't figured out how to get to the whole join button, but there is a link in the description maybe you can follow. So with that, I hope you guys are all doing well. I finally have a weekend where I'm going to be home, and I'm going to try to get another $50 hunt, maybe pick up some dimes or nickels this weekend. So hopefully we can hunt something different. And with that, hope you guys are doing well. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.